What's up? What's up? I know y'all want to hear from me. You know what I'm saying? I've been getting people uh, messaging me, tagging me, want to see what I feel about it. So since it's official, the Saints just signed Derek Carr for 4 years. They don't have all the financial details sent out yet. But it seemed like everybody kept saying he would be asking somewhere between 35 to 40 million a year. So let me just give it to you real quick. I said it's a 2 minute drill. I don't know how I feel all the way. I do feel a little bit more optimistic knowing that we're not gonna just run Andy Dalton out as the bridge gap quarterback, almost you know succumbing or almost just kind of just before the season starts taking away all fans' enthusiasm. Because Andy Dalton was not a bad backup quarterback. He's just not supposed to start 8, 9, 10 games for you. So Derek Carr does provide an upgrade, but is it $30-something million improvement upgrade per year? I don't know if he's that much of a difference. When they looked at the stats for Andy Dalton last starting season and Derek Carr's last season Raiders, it was very similar. But I don't take all that like that face value. I know it's a lot of nuances that goes into that team, philosophy, player personnel, all that stuff matters. So I'm not gonna get into comparing Andy Dalton's numbers at the end of his last season that he started with the last season of Derek Carr at just face value. That's not enough. You got to dive in a little bit deeper than that. So what I will say is, just looking at him physically, Derek Carr is he's younger and he's better than everybody we had on our roster. Is he that much better? I don't know. The Saints are wizards at cap management. They're going to figure out the details of the money. Jameis Winston, I'm going to just be real with y'all. Some people always be talking on the outside. They don't really know the ins and outs of the Saints like I do. So let me just share something. I was a Jameis Winston fan. I was kind of glad that we was able to get him to come back last season, and after we wasn't able to get Deshaun Watson at the last minute. And I knew we saved a lot more money, and I was expecting Jameis Winston to take the next level up. So a few things that I realized that Sean Payton is not on our sideline anymore. So whatever we think he did not provide, we sadly mistaken. Pete Carmichael has been our coordinator before for a full season, but I think just knowing Sean is in that building and his voice and what he says and his command is more than what we can quantify. Real talk. So I do think Pete can do better, but there has a lot of play calling to be desired on last year. So Jameis Winston, when he played, he looked bad. I'm not gonna lie. Besides one fourth quarter comeback against Atlanta week 1, Jameis looked horrible. The offense sputtered every time he got out there. We would go 6 series in a row with 3 and outs and moving backwards, and then have to punt, and then he'll make one big play that we like, oh, that's Jameis. So I'm gonna be honest, and on his behalf, this is how I felt pretty much after week 5 or 6, and everybody who knows me and that's close to me knows I'm not lying. I had already kind of given up hopes of playoffs about week 5 or 6 in the season. So I felt that when Jameis finally came back from his injury, they say he had 4 fractured vertebrae. And I don't know how severe they were, but 4 fractured vertebrae, anything wrong with your back, I know that affects a lot, especially throwing the ball. You got to get torqued with it and spin and twist your body. Then you're getting hit on top of that. I think once he was healthy, declared healthy, the Saints should have just let him play out the season no matter what happened. Like, I don't care if we lost every other game that he played. Just let him play, because you still had a little bit of question of what he could possibly be, because he had potential. What's his name? Andy Dalton, he don't have no potential. He's a solid veteran that can lead your team when you get your quarterback to go down for 1 or 2 games, and he can fill in. But to ask him to go out and win a game, that's not something that he's capable of doing. He don't always lose games, but he ain't gonna win no games. He's just solid. What a number 2 supposed to be. Jameis Winston still kind of tantalizes people with his potential. So I kind of wanted to just let it play out. I don't care what we would have done. I had already given up on the season, week 5, for his playoffs and all that. I just wanted to know, did we find our quarterback of the future at 28-year-old Jameis Winston? Because I wanted to know for sure he showed us some things in that end of that Atlanta game in week 1 that I was looking forward to seeing for the remainder of the season. So, I'm gonna respond to some of y'all. I see you on here, Dame. I ain't finna mess with you right now. So I was looking forward to seeing him play. Win or lose or draw. Andy Dalton been in the league probably over 10 years, 11, 12 years already. We know what he is, what he ain't. We didn't gain anything by letting him play, except we looked a little bit better offensively as far as matriculating the ball down the football field. We didn't look like we didn't have a clue. Sometime when James was playing, it looked like our offense didn't have a clue. We fumbling the ball, 3 and outs, can't do a screen play, can't run basic plays. We just looked horrible. So I'm not going to defend James on that. What I am going to defend is if he was injured, and that's the reason why, then I would have liked to seen him play when the injury was healed. If that even happened throughout the season. But I know when he said he was ready to play, I wanted to let him play. That way, when the season over, you move on from Jameis and you don't have to worry about that. So Jameis kind of got played. I think he got messed over. But what a lot of people don't realize is that Dennis Allen doesn't have the leash that Sean Payton would have had with Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston would have played as soon as he was ready to play with Sean Payton, because if Sean Payton realized that he's not the man, well, nobody's finna fire Sean Payton. Dennis Allen has a horrible head coaching resume. So I think in his mind, he was just wanting every win. I don't care if it went from 7 wins to 8 wins. If he can get an extra win to help him hold on to his job, I think that's what he was trying to do when he let Andy Dalton just start for the remainder of the season. Andy Dalton, he actually put a halt on all of the quarterback controversy after Andy Dalton's worst game of the season. Andy Dalton went out there and threw 3 interceptions, 2 pick sixes, and that's the game following that. After that game is when he got deemed as the starting quarterback for the remainder of the season. That's a weird way to give somebody a job with no competition after a performance like that. But that's what they did. So that let me know they have no confidence in Jameis, even when he was healthy. They didn't feel that he brings nothing to them. Now, I don't think that's accurately assessed, but I think with what Dennis Allen felt he was dealing with, short leash, he probably felt like he got to get every win he can get. So they didn't play Jameis. They chose to go away from Jameis, and I don't think that was fair, but that's just what it is. But I'm not going to sit up here and act like when Jameis was playing, we was balling. We wasn't balling. Jameis didn't look good. But if you got 4 fractured vertebrae, maybe you ain't supposed to look good. That's just what I'm saying. Is Derek Carr better than both of those? I think he is. And I think Derek Carr can play well, and possibly Derek Carr might make Mike Thomas consider staying a little longer, because we had already redone his contract to help us get rid of him. But I think Mike Thomas might be more interested in taking a smaller, reduced salary if he has a quarterback that he feels that can possibly deliver. I don't know if that's Derek Carr, but I think Derek Carr is better than what we have. But I'm telling you now, if at pick number 40, we still have an opportunity to pick Hendon Hooker, I want to go get him. At 29, no, we probably ain't going to get him at 29. We need to get the best player available, so we need help on D-tackle. Last year, our run defense dropped from top 5 to number 22, but our overall defense was ranked number 5. So our run defense took a heavy hit, so we got to get back stout in the middle. So I want to target a defensive tackle in the first round. But if at number 40, Hendon Hooker is available, I want to get him. I know they're not, but we ought to get him. Keep throwing darts, man. One of them going to hit the bullseye. So that's what I say. Yeah, you got Derek Carr, you got Hendon Hooker. You ain't asking him to come in and start right away, but if he look better than him going into the second season with them, and let him play. That's how I feel. Real talk. You know what I'm saying? When they got Aaron Rodgers, they still had Green Bay. When Green Bay got Aaron Rodgers, they still had Brett Favre. You know what I'm saying? When Kansas City got Patrick Mahomes, they still had Alex Smith, and Alex Smith had a good season. Real talk. When we tried to get Mahomes, we was going to pick him at number 11. The Chiefs moved up and traded up and got in front of us at number 10 and picked Mahomes. We still had Drew Brees. What I'm saying is, just because you think you have something don't mean don't get better. So if Hendon Hooker's on the board at pick number 40, which was our second round pick, I want the Saints to go get him. And look, I'll roll with Derek Carr for right now. I'm cool. I ain't mad. I'm glad that we trying. They let me know my team ain't satisfied with being mediocre. We trying. Derek Carr was a Pro Bowl quarterback. He didn't look great last year, but before last year, he actually looked kind of good. They had him as an MVP candidate a couple of years ago, so I'm not going to act like he ain't got no talent. Maybe a new change of scenery, coach that believe in him. some weapons, some different weapons. He might be excited and might be able to rejuvenate himself back into Pro Bowl conversation. You know what I'm saying? But that's my little take. I'm happier today than I was on yesterday. I ain't sold all the way. I did not want Andy Dalton to come back into the season starting. I'm cool with Andy Dalton being on the bench again. You know what I'm saying? He filling in for a game or two, veteran leadership at practice, somebody to hold a clipboard, you know, somebody like that. But at pick number 40 in the second round, I hope the Saints get a chance to get Hendon Hooker. And I think that's his right. I think I'm saying his name right. That's who I want. Number 29 in the first round, go get a D tackle. The best one on the board that y'all feel is the best one on y'all for y'all to draft. Go pick us a D tackle. That's what I feel, real talk. You know, cool. But what's funny to me is how they play these games. On yesterday, if anybody had been keeping up with this quarterback derby, they had Derek Carr leaning to the Jets. It was in all reports. The Jets. He's leaning more toward the Jets. But all that is to make the Saints go ahead and up the ante. Give him a little bit more money. That's what he was supposed to do. It worked because he probably wasn't never worrying about going to the Jets. But he's supposed to say that. He said it. So they said it all. It was on every media outlet. You know, Carr's leaning to the Jets, leaning to the Jets. But then early this morning, the Saints got it. That's my take, man. I see a lot of y'all see they Travion say we ain't gonna get him because we signed Carter 4 years. We probably ain't. And look, you're right about Hooker being 25. He's the same age Burrow was. He might be a couple months older than Burrow when Burrow came to the league. But if he beat him out, man, he just beat him out. You know, I know Derek Carr guaranteed to start next year, maybe even 2 years. But man, in year 3, man, if Derek Carr ain't beating Hendon Hooker out, you got to play Hendon Hooker. Don't do the Jordan Love thing that they did at Green Bay with. Now this dude been in the league for 4 years, ain't played but probably no meaningful minutes, nothing but backup scrub moments. And now Rodgers is getting ready to leave, or y'all gonna let him go, or whatever you're gonna do, and you still don't know what you got in the first round pick. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do nothing like that. But pick number 40. If Hendon Hooker is still on the board, that's who I want to go get at number 40, and let them battle it out. I'm just being real. We don't have no Hall of Fame quarterback on our roster that just automatically got to be handed the job. That's when you got Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, somebody like that. But when you got dudes that's kind of nice, range between maybe the number 11th quarterback to the 17th quarterback in the league, you can't be satisfied with that. That means you got to still hold open competition. That means, for this year coming up, Derek Carr going to probably be the solidified number 1 starter. Maybe going into year 2, he's the assumed starter. But in year 2, if Hendon Hooker's on our sideline and he's outperforming him in practice, well, damn it, let it go and let it be. I'm just keeping it real. Let Hendon Hooker be the quarterback. Don't worry about that. Fix your mistakes later. Don't be no fool, and don't be held hostage to a decision that you made 2 years prior by something your eyes show you right now. You understand what I'm saying? Because Alex Smith actually was playing his best football when Kansas City decided to go ahead and move on from him. Drew Brees was still, like 2017, Drew Brees was still balling. His arm strength had declined slightly, but nothing like the last year in 2020. But we were still finna get Mahomes, man. For y'all don't know that was our pick before we got Marshawn Lattimore, because, you know, once Kansas City moved up and got Mahomes, we took Marshawn Lattimore, the top cornerback on the board. That's how they went. So what I'm saying is don't get locked into nobody just because you got them for 4 years or 3 years or 5 years, and you see some other option that can compete with them, and you can get them at a good value. Getting Hendon Hooker in the first round early, no, probably not good value. But getting him at pick number 40 in the second round, that's good value. Yeah, he played in the college offense, but he played against SEC opponents. So work with him, man. Throw some darts. It's called throwing darts. You keep throwing darts at the bullseye, one of them gonna hit. So what I'm saying is to take as much talent as you can at the quarterback position, and let the darts fall where they may. That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate y'all tuning in for my 2-minute drill. It's more than 2 minutes. It is what it is. You know, I wasn't gonna be able to finish that 2 minutes just to make y'all listen. You know, y'all attention span is waning. You know, nobody can't watch nobody for no 15, 20 minutes, but I got y'all anyway. Appreciate that. Holla at your boy.